Good evening, fellow Retro Bros, WWE Universe. How you doing tonight? How y'all feeling? Are you feeling oozy? Eh? I'm feeling oozy, definitely. Yeah, ready to rock and roll here on Retro Bros Podcast YouTube channel. We are going to present, well, I should say, not we, only me, myself, and I. Yours truly, Nat. Unfortunately, my Retro Bros podcast partner CJ will not be joining me tonight. He is unfortunately feeling under the weather. Shout out to CJ. Hopefully you're feeling better soon. But it's yourself and kick ass, kick to the curb, whatever you're fighting there. Okay, so yeah, so basically this is our uh, this is our week. Uh, as well as any pay-per-view results and views and opinions. Oh, looks like I have a viewer. Oh, that's nice to see. All right. Hello there, viewer, wherever you are. Um, so if you're new or tuning in for the first time, again, basically what we do is give our views and opinions on the past week's Raw and SmackDown, as well as throw in any pay-per-view matches. And I'm glad to provide my match opinions on last weekend's Crown Jewel Premium Live event. Used that in 3 minutes. And also, I will um, that I hope it's important to you all as well. That next February 23 nomination for pay-per-view event will play homegrown city where I was basically is that I be there along with cousin because tickets go on sale this coming uh, some my time at a review event. I have we had survivors here as well as you can see from my lovely souvenir cup, and those were amazing to say the least. So we've definitely had two of the big four pay-per-views here in Toronto. So we hope to. Well, actually, should I say three? WrestleMania has been here in Toronto twice now, and I'd say we're due for another one sooner than later, and definitely even the Royal Rumble would be nice too. Hey, speaking of pay-per-views, I will get to now to start off my match opinions and results from last Saturday night's and I'll go match by match and give the result. And just in this case, I'll just say what I felt about themselves. Not so much like move by move, just my basic opinion on the match itself. Okay, so the first result here was Brock Lesnar defeated Bobby Lashley, which, to be honest, for those who, which was what happened was Lashley had um, Brock Lesnar locked in the Hurt Lock, and Lesnar was able to climb up to the second rope and push back Lashley to eventually uh, get the pinfall victory. But that matter, I didn't go to the mat. At least both of them. If anything, only it looked only one of them was on the mat. So I didn't like how it ended, and I didn't like the result. So it sucks, but what are you gonna do? Okay, the next result is Damage Control defeated Alexa Bliss and Asuka to once again regain the women's tag team championship. Once again, I did not like the result because, of course, from last week's, well, actually the week before that, the week before Crown Jewel, Asuka and Alexa became tag team champions, and I was very for that or our Empress, if you will, of tomorrow. She's fun to watch, always fun to watch, and too bad that her and Alexa lost the titles. But in another sense, the girls in Damage Control are growing on me. Oh, hello again, lonely viewer, wherever you are. Thank you for coming on. And speaking of thank yous, I would personally like to, on behalf of my co-host CJ, as well as our fellow Retro Bros podcaster Frank, I would like to thank all of you who have tuned in or are tuning in our videos. And thanks to all of you, the channel here has now 96 subscribers, so we're 4 away from the 100 milestone. And as well, speaking of milestones, all of our videos have well surpassed the 4,000 mark. So, when it comes to milestones and breaking records, I'll get to that a little bit later on. You'll see what I mean. So again, to all our viewers and subscribers, a big thank you. Big Chad Gable to you all. All right. So back to what I was saying about the women's tag team title match. Um, so just again, I was sad for Asuka, especially for losing the title, but they're a fun little team. Who knows? They may get another title shot. But definitely, the girls of Damage Control are growing on me. Like I'm enjoying them more, especially Io Sky. She's an amazing athlete and well-rounded, amazing superstar. Okay, the next Crown Jewel result was Drew McIntyre defeated Karrion Kross in the steel cage, which that was my first correct prediction of the night. In case you all didn't see it before, I had thrown in my Crown Jewel predictions during our last Retro RawDown show, and of course one of them was that Drew McIntyre was to come out victorious, and he did. Way to go. So the way it happened was Drew was the first one to escape the cage. He was climbing over the top of the cage, and he got his feet to touch the floor first before Kross was trying to climb out or crawl out the door, if you will, And if you ask me, you know, throughout the points of the match and whenever she could, Cross's manager Scarlett tried to help him out in any way. But if you look at the end of this match, if you really look carefully, it actually looks like she's sort of in Cross's way. Like uh, he was trying to crawl out of the cage through the door, but if you think about it, she was in the way. So, if Drew Will he could in a strange way. And he's always been one of my favorites. And kudos on his victory. Of course, steel cage matches are one of the roughest, toughest forms of matches in WWE. I don't know about you all, but I can definitely pick my all-time favorite steel cage match. We're going to give a little flashback here to 1994, the SummerSlam with Bret Hart defending the WWE title against my all-time favorite wrestler, his brother Owen Hart. And if you all are WWE Network subscribers, I really recommend watching this match, much less this pay-per-view. Definitely one of the best SummerSlams of all time. And in my view, or in my opinion, for that matter, that's the best cage match of all time. So definitely a recommended view on there. And okay, so back to back to Crown Jewel here. The next result is the Judgment Day defeated the OC. I was torn in between this match because I have a loyalty on on each sides of the spectrum, if you will. I always will have a loyalty towards Finn Balor, and I'll always have a loyalty towards this little guy here. Feeling phenomenal as always. But you know what? Now that I think of it, Dominic especially, coming into his own as a member of Judgment Day, doing well for himself, despite being a member of a faction now. Pardon me. Cheers. Ah, feeling woozy. Anyway, so yeah, Judgment Day, they're definitely a formidable faction. They're looking great, and I still think they look like a family. And of course, if you all know the history with AJ Styles and the other members of the OC, of course, in that sense, it's always fun to see them together. So good for the Judgment Day. They get the upper hand, but uh, most likely it was thanks to Rhea, which she's still one of my favorite girls. And despite her recent singles match down in NXT, she still hasn't been a singles match on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown for that matter since joining the Judgment Day. So I, for one, would like to see her in a singles match on one of those shows because, as always, I've said I do not want NXT. Honestly, for me, Raw and SmackDown is enough. Okay, so on we go then. The next result I liked very much, and that is Braun Strowman defeated Omos. And of course, this was a very well-even match. Of course, both guys being, the powerhouses, the big giant guys. But of course, very rarely do we see Strowman looking up towards his opponent. But they're both very impressive specimens, if you will. So, but again, overall, this was my first pick when it comes to match of the night. I had a couple of picks after that, like the Roman Reigns and Logan Paul match was pretty good, and I'll get to that shortly. And actually, I'll get to the Raw Women's title match as well very shortly. That too is not too far behind for a match of the night candidate. But I'd say definitely the best match overall and best result was Strowman defeating Omos, no doubt. Okay, the next result here is the Usos retained the tag team titles, the undisputed tag team titles, by defeating the Brawling Brutes. Um, you know what? The Brutes are a decent team, not a great team, but okay in that matter. But of course, it's going to take a really amazing tag team to defeat the Usos. I mean, they're called the Bloodline for a reason, and blood's thicker than water. You always each member of the team can defend or depend on the other. Being family. So to me, that family bond definitely helps, and of course, I'll always have a loyalty towards the Usos. The ones, right? And I will always feel Lucy. I can call myself Nat Uso if I wanted to. Hey, maybe I will. What the hell? Got a nice ring to it. I mean, Tasha Uso. I don't know about that, but that might work out. Oh, I have a viewer again. Hello, viewer. Okay. So I hope you're feeling Oosy too. Oosy goosey. I can't let that go. It's hilarious. Okay. So the next result, as I said before, the Raw Women's title match between Bianca and Bailey. That was the last woman standing match. And I found it interesting how Bianca was able to keep Bailey down for the ref's 10 count. She ended up putting Bailey in between the sets of steps of a ladder, and of course that got Bailey stuck under there, so she wasn't able to get up before the referee's count of 10. So thanks to that, Bianca retains the Raw Women's title. Now, for any of you watching, or anyone who's going to watch, you're more than welcome to leave in the comments section once you see this video. I'm going to throw out a little opinion poll here as to who do you feel would eventually face and defeat Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. I'm going to go out and answer my own question, and I'm going to go for Asuka. Always. Always go for my Empress. And who knows, maybe somewhere along the line we may see a return of Becky Lynch. Who knows? And speaking of Becky Lynch, another bit of wrestling news here. For any of you who may have watched it or not familiar with it, The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, has a half an hour TV show talking about his life, and he's like a candidate for running for president, and each episode talks about different points of his career, like from his early life to growing up in a wrestling family and all that stuff. So for what it's worth, the latest episode of the show's called Young Rock, by the way, which is on NBC Friday nights at, I believe, 8:30 Bianca time, EST. So for what it's worth, Becky Lynch, speaking of her, she actually guest starred on Young Rock. She played the role of Cyndi Lauper because that episode was talking about, when The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson, was not featured in the very first WrestleMania, but there was like a whole after party after like the whole amazing success of the first WrestleMania. So The Rock, as a young kid, was there, and he met guys like Hogan and Savage and all those old school guys, right? And Of course, Cyndi Lauper, the singer, was a big part of like combining sports and entertainment, right? So to play the role of Cyndi Lauper, they brought in Becky Lynch. So it was pretty amazing. It was neat to see her in a different role. I think. Okay, that here match was the main event was against Logan Paul. And of course, Roman Reigns retained the undisputed Universal title. No surprise. I kept saying all along that Logan Paul was going to get his ass kicked and or broken in pieces, if you will. But you know what? I'll give him credit. He held his ground, and who wouldn't be able to hold their ground against a guy like Roman Reigns after being trained and pick up moves like Logan Paul did. He was trained and helped out by one of my favorites, WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels. And you know what? Now that I think of it, thanks to that, Logan Paul was able to hold his ground and give Reigns a decent fight. And it turned out to be a pretty good match. I'm sure a lot of fans out there would call it match of the night. Um, yeah, it's not too far behind in my opinion, but I'll always, let's just say, I'll always acknowledge our tribal chief. Always, always love Roman. Good guy, bad guy, doesn't matter. Roman's always going to be one of my favorites, and it may be a little too soon to say, but surefire Hall of Famer to join the rest of his family. Yeah, no question. So that's my crown jewel stuff for now. Overall, a great event. It definitely had the WrestleMania feeling to it, which of course is always amazing, and it felt great to take a look and see what it was all about. Mm. Ah, feeling Lucy once again, Lucy Juicy, if you will. All right, so again, um, Crown Jewel is definitely an event that gives you the WrestleMania vibes, if you will. I definitely think so. Okay, so we'll go on here to last Monday night's Raw, which just grab my notes here. And the first match from last Monday's Raw featured the Bloodline, so the Usos and their younger brother Solo Sikoa against the New Day and Little Riddle, as I call him. Little Riddle, that's right. Um, One of the first things I noticed was, like when the New Day does the mud hole stomps in the corner, when they switch back and forth and do the stomp, stomp, stomp with their feet to their opponent in the corner. Even though he wasn't one of my favorites, I can't help but think of Stone Cold Steve Austin because, of course, the mud hole stops was one of his signature moves, and I'm old school, so whenever I see a signature move of like an old school wrestler or whatever, or legend or Hall of Famer, it definitely gives me a pretty flashback. And then I have what I call here an ouch moment. And that ouch moment was a bending arm back by Xavier Woods on Jay. So Woods had Jay Uso in the middle of the ring in sort of like a submission move, sort of like an arm bar, but a little more extreme, if you ask me. Like bending the arm and elbow back so far that it looked like a bone can actually break. So I said to myself, "Ooh, ouch!" Definitely an ouch moment. And then we all love the high abilities of Kofi Kingston. So I had wrote down here flying crossbody by Kofi after a failed trip up by Woods. So if I recall correctly, one of the Usos coming towards Woods, and he missed trying to trip them up, and then Kofi was able to hit this flying crossbody, if I recall correctly, over the top rope. And then I have a wow moment here. Attempted over the top rope leaf by Kofi runs into a hard right hand by Solo. So of course, when you see your opponent outside the ring on the floor there, whether they're on their feet or flat on their back or flat on their face, if you're going to do a high risk maneuver, then you don't necessarily expect them to be ready to give you like a hard punch or a hard right hand or whatever. But it was, in a way, it was definitely out of the blue to see that happen. So kudos to Solo on that part, because that was like uh, very accurate and right on the button there. But too bad for Kofi, of course, because of course when I would say at least 85% of the time when Kofi attempts a high flying maneuver, he pretty much always gets it done, or at least hits it with the best of his ability. Okay, so the end of the match goes on that Sikoa gives the swinging solo finishing move to pick up the win for the Bloodline, and once again, be the ones and feeling oozy. Definitely all feeling oozy. I can't let that go. Forgive me. Okay. So the next match we have here is Baron Corbin against Cedric Alexander. One of the first moves I noticed here was Corbin had delivered a clothesline to Alexander, and I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, this might as well have been a clothesline from hell that JBL used to give out." And it was interesting. I I gave myself the JBL reference because ever since the pair up, it's been at least a couple of weeks now, so there's 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 almost no question that possibly JBL had showed Corbin how to do the clothesline from hell, or to possibly have as much impact as he could, and it definitely worked out. Poor Alexander, he was like not almost knocked out of his boots. um, then I have a move here by Alexander's. I wrote here, Alexander leaps through ropes into a deep six by Corbin to pick up the win. So again, like counters are always amazing, and good for Corbin for being alert and being able to deliver his finishing move almost immediately. So that was a quick win, and overall decent match, and good victory for Corbin. Despite the slight experience edge that Alexander had, Corbin was pretty much dominating most of the match. So it's really no surprise he ended up picking up the victory. Okay. Here is Otis, and first things I noticed here was Elias trying to slam Otis. No, I don't think so. I mean, Elias is a great fighter, a great athlete, but he's not he's in no way like a powerhouse, even being able to try and lift up Otis for even any kind of a slam position. And I have here a right on target moment, knee to face by Elias. You never know whether you can hit a move as accurately as possible, and of course, the more accuracy, the more effectiveness will be given to a move. And a move like a knee to face is almost immediate. So that kind of alertness and that kind of a ring awareness, if you will, always helps out in delivering moves. And So the match ended by Otis getting the World's Strongest Slam and picking up the victory. Um, in uh, in in your opinion, who do you all feel does the World's Strongest Slam the best, Otis or WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, who's of course finishing move was his originally. You know what? I for one think Otis does pretty well, but again, my old school instincts come into play, um, and yeah, definitely, definitely Otis does it well, but nobody beats the Hall of Pain, if you will. Okay, um, next match we have here is oh, by the way, the young gentleman they're hanging in the back there is my father. Hello, father. How you doing? Hey, father. Hey, that's my dad. Hi, Dad. Yeah, that's my dad. And he puts up with me watching the Raw and SmackDown. We've been watching together like over 30 years at least. Have a good night, Dad. And yeah, he's actually a big reason why I got into watching wrestling. Like it would start off with my dad and my brother watching like every Saturday afternoon at 12, and then the 7-year-old kid that I was, just to make a long story short, just was amazed by all these real life characters and what they can do in the ring. I've been watching ever since. I've been pretty much watching wrestling for a little over 30 years now. Okay, so again, the next match we have here is Austin Theory against Shelton Benjamin. And I just wrote here, despite the difference in experience, both superstars held their ground, and they did. It was a very well even match. Um, of course, Benjamin had the uh, very much more advantage when it came to experience. But I have to admit, Theory is growing on me. He too is an amazing athlete and a pretty good fighter, and the way he acts is sort of growing on me too, like the cocky type and the self-made type and all that stuff. So he's okay at least for now. So I didn't really notice too many um, moves or match points here. So the way the match ended was a rake in the face by Theory, followed by an A-Town down to give him the victory. Um, I like how the A-Town down looks. It's like a knee to face, and again almost an immediate delivery. So that pretty much knocks out your opponent, and you're through. Literally down, A-Town down. So good for Theory on that. So the next match here is The Miz versus Johnny Gargano, or Johnny Wrestling, if you will. It was interesting what Gargano did. Again, I'll make a long story short. He basically revealed the fact that The Miz had apparently paid off Dexter Loomis to follow him around, taunt him, attack him, stuff like that. In that sense, wrestling is like a male soap opera, as a lot of people have called it over the years. It looked more like a soap opera storyline, right? But still kind of strange. But I for one, am waiting to see whether it will happen or not. This Dexter Loomis get into the ring for a decent match with The Miz. So in a way, this match here with Gargano was like a revenge point for The Miz. The Gargano had done his own way of taunting for past couple of weeks. Of course, tricking The Miz into thinking it was Loomis when it was really Gargano himself in the crowd. And So it's very strange, but this match by itself was a decent match. So I wrote here the Miz gets the ref's attention to check underneath the ring to see if Loomis was there after the Miz was pulled underneath, and turns out in a sense Loomis wasn't there, and that distraction um, helped out Gargano a little bit, but then thanks to distraction, Miz hits Gargano with a steel tool, and in that sense, the the Miz actually ended up distracting the ref, and being able to hit Gargano with a weapon um, to get him back in the ring and get a pinfall victory. So, you know, despite Gargano trying to trick Miz, Miz comes out on top, and who knows if he's over this Loomis problem or not, right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks. Okay, next match here is a 24/7 title match with Nikki Cross against champion Dana Brooke. I don't know about you all, but this is something else you're more than welcome to leave in the comment section. I, for one, enjoy the Nikki Cross character more than the Nikki ASH thing. It looks silly. It looked really corny, and it wasn't who Nikki was, in my opinion. She's more effective of a fighter with this Nikki Cross thing. The psychotic idea. It actually gives her an edge in terms of momentum and toughness in the ring. Yeah, and you know what? I actually found myself at the beginning of the match predicting that Nikki Cross would actually um, become successful, and she did. She is now the brand new 24/7 champion. And for that matter, Dana Brooke had held the title for quite a while. So a lot of times when a champion of any kind holds on to a title for it's about time that that a new champion is crowned, and um, it also makes it interesting too. When you have someone returning and they become champion right away. I can think back, not necessarily a return, but a debut with Kevin Owens. He became Universal Champion his first night on Raw, of course, defeating John Cena. So that was an amazing moment. And when it comes to a superstar returning, again, it always makes for a more exciting title victory. Even even a title as, in my opinion, insignificant as the 24/7 title. Okay, so yeah, good for Nikki, and I think she'll hold on to this 24/7 title for quite a while as well, at least into the new year, I'd say. Okay, pardon me. Oh, well, you know what? It's only appropriate that I'm holding this up because look here. What we got here in the last match? Seth freaking Rollins against Bobby Lashley for the United States title. Now, this, of course, was an open challenge, U.S. title open challenge thrown in by Rollins, and of course Lashley steps up and accepts. But the match actually never officially got underway because Lashley had attacked Rollins from behind the entrance ramp, and I wrote here, after Rollins gets thrown into announce table, who shows up? Theory. Theory with his lunchbox, the Money in the Bank briefcase. And this surprised me for a slight moment because, I don't know about you all, but we as fans have gotten used to, or I know I have for that matter, I've gotten used to the Money in the Bank cash in being cashed in on, like the Universal title or the WWE title, or of course, more recently, Theory tried to cash in, of course, on Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the Universal WWE title, the undisputed title. And of course, that failed. Well, actually, it really didn't fail. It wasn't an official cash in, but nonetheless. Um, so, once it was declared that Theory was cashing in, the first time he attempted an 8 down resulted in a 2 count kick out for Rollins. So that it's always surprising when an opponent kicks out of a finishing move, or for that matter, when a finishing move is used a little too early in a match. And I'll actually get to that point once I switch over to the SmackDown reviews. So the second pinfall attempt by Theory got interrupted by Lashley, which strangely enough, it ended up helping Rollins, and Rollins hits a stomp and retains the title, and resulting in an official failed cash-in attempt by Theory. And unfortunately for Theory, he now joins the one of the worst elite clubs you can be a part of as a WWE superstar, and that, of course, is who failed to cash in their Money in the Bank briefcase, which, of course, forgive me, but the only other one I remember is Baron Corbin. I know there's a few more, but the only one I can remember is Baron Corbin. And for what it's worth as well, when superstars attempt the Money in the Bank cash in, it's still like over 80% come out, or 85% for that matter, come out successful. So the Money in the Bank is still pretty prestigious in that sense. But of course, unfortunately now etched in history are those couple of failed attempts. So I'm for one glad Rollins is still a champion, and you know what? Of course, Theory's going to look different without the Money in the Bank briefcase. I won't call it a lunchbox anymore because he doesn't have it no more. Excuse me. So again, great for Rollins, and I hope he holds on to that title for a while. Him being champion looks amazing. Okay, so that'll do it for the Raw portion of my reviews, and we'll go over to SmackDown now. And before we do, Lucy Juicy. Lucy Juicy. Okay, so first match of this past Friday's SmackDown was a Universal Tag Team title match with all of us once again feeling Usi, with the Usos defending tag team titles against New Day. Now, I don't know about you all, but this, I feel, was definitely a WrestleMania worthy match. Like, so much was on the line, like the New Day not only was trying to become brand new tag team champions and retain their lead or stay on top of the tag team title. But what do we got here? Oh, hello there, Devin Azim. How you doing? Paul Brothers versus Uso Twins. Fine, be crazy. Can't wait for WrestleMania 39. Oh, you're definitely right there, Diva and Azim. I can't wait for WrestleMania 39 either. I love WrestleMania. We all do. And you know what? I got a question for you then, Devin. Um, what do you think of Crown Jewel? Do you think it's got that WrestleMania vibe, or is there just nothing that beats the pageantry and the spectacle that is WrestleMania? So there's a question for you there, Devin, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for commenting. Appreciate it. Okay, so again, yeah, and of course the Usos. You know, they were not only were they trying to retain the titles, but uh, you know, becoming the longest reigning tag team champions of all time, with actually tomorrow night being the official date that will mark that milestone. Um, uh, okay, so one of the first moves I noticed here. I wrote down an ouch moment. There was an Irish whip by Jey Uso to Kofi into the barricade, and you know, it doesn't really matter honestly what kind of move is delivered. If you hit that barricade, you're in big trouble. Like you're in big time pain, even though it's padded and everything. But you know, a more highly impactful move like an Irish whip into the barricade, that hurts. You know, and especially to a smaller guy like Kofi, who doesn't have like as much bulk on him to protect himself. So definitely an ooh ouch moment. Okay, and then a wow moment I wrote down here was head scissors into side Russian leg sweep by Woods. I'm always amazed by two moves put into one sequence of moves. It's always incredible. And you know what? Even though Woods is not so much like a high flyer as Kofi is, he still holds up pretty well when it comes to the aerial moves. And kudos on Woods for that. Um, then yeah. Uh, indeed. Oh, my viewer here, Devin Azim, has another question. It says here, when do you think John Cena will be back? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Devin. I honestly don't care. I am, excuse me, I am not a Cena fan at all. I honestly couldn't care less when he comes back, but I know I give him kudos for what he does for the Make a Wish Foundation. Like he apparently has the most wishes made by a celebrity for Make a Wish. So you know, good for him on that. But I didn't like any of his movies for that matter, and he he doesn't he will honestly never be one of my favorites. But hey, you never know. You know, so for the record, I am not a member of the C Nation, if you will. I never will be. Um, yeah, right. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, John Cena is one of the most overrated WWE superstars in history. There's no question. I can't really think of anyone else, but you know, when you think overrated, definitely John Cena comes to mind. And then Devin was asking here, do you think John Cena beats Ric Flair's record? Oh, hell no. Hell no. Nobody can beat Nate. Nobody can touch Ric Flair. Woo, nobody. No way. No. There is no way at all. You do not beat the style and profile and jet plane flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. Woo! No. Nobody beats Nate. No way. No. Um, and also, do you think The Rock will return and do a match with his cousin? Well, of course, if you're referring to his cousin Roman Reigns, rumors have been flying for months now, at least, if not maybe not necessarily a couple of years, but at least a few months now. It's been rumors like all over different wrestling news websites that it could happen, and who knows? Maybe even if it does, I mean, is it all is it an all possibility that The Rock could defeat Roman for the titles? I mean, I doubt it. I highly doubt it, but of course, the match itself would be amazing. Um, and yeah, for WrestleMania 39, why not? Sure, I don't see why not. Yeah, and thank you again, Devin, for all your questions there, and I hope my answers help you out in your thoughts there. I'm glad to put in my insight as always. Okay, so back to the tag team title match from SmackDown. Um, so the way it here was a failed splash, um, which actually the Usos ended up turning into their finishing move, the 1D, which gave them the victory. And now the Usos are officially, actually tomorrow night by Raw's time, they will be the longest reigning tag team champions in history. What do we got here? Devin says, if The Rock actually doing a comeback, what about not wrestle with Roman and talking to his fans instead of like Cena did, talked and explained why he haven't active in WWE? Well, you know what, Devin, if the if The Rock does come back, I mean, it would be it would be interesting to, if anything, maybe see him in Roman's corner against whoever Roman. Let's face it, he's going to face someone for the titles at WrestleMania. There's no way you're going to have a WrestleMania without a Universal WWE Undisputed title match with Roman. Um, so whoever he's going to face, it would be interesting to see The Rock in his corner. Uh, I'm not wrestle with Roman and talking to his fans instead, like Cena did, talked and explained. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't believe a word that comes out of Cena's mouth. You know, like when he used to do promos. So whatever Cena would say to me would be total BS. Sorry to say, but that's how I feel. It would be funny if The Rock appears out of nowhere. Well, yes, it would. I mean, it, anyway, The Rock would show up at WrestleMania for that matter would be, yeah, funny, and of course the crowd would go insane, no question. But yeah, well, that's the fun thing, or the exciting, one of the many exciting parts of WrestleMania is that you'll never know. You never know what you're going to see or when you're going to see it, for that matter. Pardon me again. Mm. Juicy, juicy. All right, so we'll go on here to the next match from SmackDown, and it's the first match of um, this World Cup tournament. So it pinned Shinsuke Nakamura against Santos Escobar from Legado del Fantasma. And actually, it was interesting. One of the things I liked about this match was how they had on the graphics on the entrance screen. They showed like the flags of the two competitors. So of course, one side the Japanese flag and the other side the Mexican flag. I found that kind of neat. Just for representation of both superstars. Excuse me. Very even match, I would say. Both guys seem to have the same sets of moves, but of course, Nakamura had the edge when it came to experience. Of course, they both wrestled in NXT, but Nakamura is there already a few years, whereas this Escobar has only, as far as I know, has only been there for a few months or so, at least in his time in NXT. Devin says, "Get ready for tomorrow night. It's going to be wild." Yeah, no doubt it's going to be wild. And actually, speaking of tomorrow night's Raw, like I said, tomorrow marks officially the Usos being the longest reigning tag team champions of all time. So I hope there's going to be some kind of celebration or segment, if you will, during tomorrow night's Raw to mark that. I mean, that's a historic moment. So and for an amazing team like the Usos. So I hope there's something to mark uh, that little point or huge point in wrestling history. Okay, so back to the Nakamura Escobar match here. So the way the match ended, which I didn't like actually, because I've always loved Nakamura. I always had a loyalty for him because actually I met him. So I can't help but feeling loyal towards Nakamura. But the way it match ended was this move called the Phantom Driver Slam off the second rope by Escobar. So that gave him the victory. Laugh out loud by Devin. That's right, and I find that my friends know that SmackDown is coming to my city next month, which we're hyped for. Oh that's cool, Devin. So where do you live there, Devin? Where's SmackDown gonna be next week? I don't even know. But for that matter, in case you missed it before, I'm here in Toronto, Canada, and of course we had our latest team event anyway was we had Monday Night Raw here back in August, which actually I attended. It was amazing to say the least. And actually, in terms of attending events, I'm going to be attending next February's uh, Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Montreal, along with my cousin there in Montreal. Shout out to my cousin once again, Rebecca. Um, so yeah, so once again, welcome Devin from wherever you are. Um, okay, so this Phantom Driver Slam that Escobar did, I felt it was a mix of a Sheamus White Noise and a Sami Zayn Blue Thunderbomb. It starts out as a position to give the white noise, and then it transitions into a version of the blue thunderbomb. So I've always said combinations of two moves into one is always amazing. So good for Escobar, but I was going for Nakamura to win, but nonetheless. Okay. So next we have here we have a six-pack challenge in the women's division. The winner getting a SmackDown Women's title shot against Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series, and the match involved Shotzi, Raquel Rodriguez, Lacey Evans, Xia Li. What am I missing here? Pardon me. Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan. I would say out of those six, my favorite, for that matter, would be Sonya Deville. I like her toughness, and she doesn't act like a prima donna or a Barbie doll or anything like that. She actually wrestles, so I like that about her very much. And actually, one who's growing on me is I like Raquel. I like Raquel Rodriguez, how powerful she is, and again, not acting like a Barbie doll or anything like that, and actually wrestles, showing off her strength and power ability, if you will. Okay, so one of the moves I noticed here was Lacey Evans was trying to, or actually she did deliver her finishing move, the women's right, to Shotzi and tried a pinfall attempt, but didn't work. I honestly feel that delivering a finishing move so early in a match, in my opinion, doesn't really work. Um, doesn't work that well. Um, it might the odd time, but most of the time it really doesn't work. So it didn't work for Lacey for that matter. Excuse me. You're gonna need some more oosey juicy. Ah, there it is. All right. So um, I wrote down a wow moment here. Um, Impressive vertical suplex by Rodriguez on Zia Lee from the second rope. And once again, the power display by Rodriguez is incredible. And um, you know, whether it's a superplex or just any kind of slam from the ropes is an amazing move, and especially for uh, Rodriguez to be able to once again show off her power is incredible. So it was definitely an amazing move. Um, then there was an attempted power bomb into um, a wooden table on the outside of the ring by Rodriguez, thanks to Morgan landing kind of strangely into both Rodriguez and Sonya Deville. So, you know, I mean, for those of for those who are pretty observant like I am, most if you ask me, most fans don't notice like botches in moves or or anything else, but I certainly did, and Liv Morgan definitely landed sort of awkwardly and didn't get the impact she wanted from. It looked like she was going for a crossbody um, to eventually hit Rodriguez, but again, she ended up landing on both Rodriguez and Deville, and just honestly didn't get the impact that I think she wanted for that matter. So that didn't work. And if I recall correctly, none of the girls went through that table that was set up. So that didn't work either. Um, okay, so the match ended by a pinfall by Shotzi. Shotzi pins Lacey Evans to become the number one contender. Again, she gets Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title at Survivor Series. Shotzi is an amazing athlete as well. Not a bad fighter, but I gotta go with the real fighter. Yeah. Oh God, what's this? Okay, I'm not even gonna say what that is. Oh God, what is this? Okay, I'm gonna ignore that. That's for sure. Okay, so I'm definitely whenever. Oh yeah, yeah. Pardon me. It's at Survivor Series. So Shotzi will face Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title, and I'll give my first Survivor Series prediction here. I'll go with Ronda Rousey retaining, even though I sort of like Shotzi, but not really. But I'll stick with Rousey. Okay. Next match we have here is a second World Cup quarterfinal match, pitting Jinder Mahal against Braun Strowman, a returning Jinder Mahal, I might say. Overall, I thought Mahal held his ground, especially in the beginning of the match. He was coming back after a few months on the shelf, definitely showing no ring rust. He did pretty well for himself after or against a stronger and tougher opponent like Strowman. And again, I didn't really notice any specific moves here because both guys had their momentum and their moments throughout the match. Match ended by a power bomb by Strowman, giving him the victory, which was great. I I always go for most of the time I go for Strowman in his matches. Of course, it depends who he's facing, but no doubt, no doubt, Strowman deserved that victory. Okay, last thing here, or last match anyway, was Zelina Vega. She was apparently supposed to face the girl from Hit Row, B Fab. Pardon me again. And that match actually didn't end up happening because apparently the Viking Raiders had showed up, and you know, if you ask me, it's because both Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma had the female representatives. So, when the Viking Raiders showed up, it was appropriate that they had a female representative as well, and it turned out to be a returning Sarah Logan, which which was neat for me anyway, because I kept looking at her, and I'm looking, and then I said, "Oh yeah, that's definitely Sarah Logan," and even so the commentator said so. So again, a return is always fun, and the Raiders, not necessarily one of my favorites, but um, the I, I would say they'll become now a pretty well-rounded faction now, having Sarah Logan in their corner, and for what I remember, she was a pretty tough fighter as well. Okay, so yeah, so that ends my SmackDown portion here, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I hope that you all enjoyed this edition of Retro RawDown. I do hope to have, and again, a shout out to my Retro Bros podcast co host CJ. Thank you for helping me out again with everything. And thank you all for putting up with me and my babbling mouth, if you will. But I do hope that my input and my well detailed details, I guess, help you out in catching up on all your wrestling news and everything like that. So yeah, definitely look forward to for sure tomorrow night's Raw, because like I said, I would like to see like a celebration for the Usos becoming the longest reigning tag team titles, so holders, if you will. So I hope that happens, and who knows what will happen on SmackDown. You never know with SmackDown these days. But there is going to be, if I recall correctly, there's going to be another World Cup qualifying match that'll pin Ricochet against Sami Zayn, or Sami Uso, if you will. Now, here's another quick opinion poll I just thought of now. When Sami faces Ricochet on next Friday's SmackDown, do you all feel that Sami should have a member or two members, or the rest of the bloodline in his corner, or should he just should he be solo, if you will? Should he come to the ring on his own? I mean, for that matter, it wouldn't surprise me if the bloodline interferes in that match in any way, even if Sami comes in solo, if you will. Solo, yeah. Okay. So yeah, so again, thank you all for tuning in and putting up with me. I appreciate it, and so does definitely my podcast co-host CJ. And again, I hope to have him back next week. We'll come to you next Saturday night for Retro Road episode Lucky 13. And we hope to see you all then. So listen, all of you, take care, be well, be safe, be healthy, and keep kicking ass. All right, I'm Nat. I'll see you all next week. Be well. Take care.